There's been a series of important developments in the ANC's leadership race in the last 20 hours or so. The ANC and eThekwini, the party's biggest region, have announced they're backing Dr Zweli Mkhize for the position of leader. They want him to take on President Cyril Ramaphosa. You know, the Limpopo and the Gauteng provinces of the ANC met this week. Their leaderships have both decided they'll work together to support President Cyril Ramaphosa for a second term. They want Paul Mashatile for the position of deputy leader and Nomvula Mokonyane for the position of Deputy Secretary General, but both the Limpopo and Gauteng ANC have not yet said who should be the Secretary General. Elvis Masoga is a political analyst. He joins us now. Elvis, good afternoon to you. Let's start with eThekwini. They're backing Zweli Mkhize. That's quite a big call. There is still the Digital Vibe scandal around him.
Yeah, thanks. My humble greetings to you, Stephen, and my best to all the viewers of Newzroom Afrika TV. Yeah, it is a fascinating spectacle, to observe and watch, especially 2 or 3 months ahead of the historic, elected conference of the ANC, where several, individual candidates have raised, their hands to say they are available, to become the next ANC president. But, the fascinating spectacle, Stephen, is that, this fragmentation within, particularly, the rival faction, in as far as the president is concerned, it works in favor of the incumbent, especially when the incumbent president is available for re-election. And rather than having a rival faction, coalescing around a common candidate, you have got, divisions within the rival faction. And it works in favor of the current president of the ANC. Because if you make a dynamic assessment of the balance of forces within the faction of Ramaphosa, you realize that they are coherently united. There is no question mark over whether Ramaphosa must go for a second term or not. His faction is united behind him. But when it comes to the other rival faction, there is fragmentation, there is divisions. They can't even agree who is supposed to be forwarded as a presidential candidate or even a duly presidential candidate. So to a large extent, it works in favor of an incumbent president who is also available for another term. So to a large extent, the president, Ramaphosa, stands to benefit from these divisions and fragmentations that you will find in the rival faction.
The fact that eThekwini is backing Mkhize, does that mean that Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma really has absolutely no chance? Because I would imagine that for her campaign to get going, she really needs strong support from KwaZulu-Natal, and without it, she probably isn't going to get anywhere. Is this almost effectively the end of her campaign, perhaps?
Yeah, but that's another fascinating observation, because immediately after the recent elected provincial conference of the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal, it became quite clear that President Ramaphosa had nothing to lose, because almost all the top leaders who were elected at that KwaZulu-Natal conference rallied behind former President Jacob Zuma, meaning that it was quite clear that they can't even nominate Ramaphosa for any position. But out of the blue, it seems branches of the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal are refusing to rally behind an instruction reportedly from Jacob Zuma that they must support, his former wife, Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma. So to a certain extent, it creates a political advantage on the part of the president, a province whom Ramaphosa thought will not even consider him. Suddenly they are now divided among themselves. So those divisions will work in favor of Ramaphosa's faction, because when you check the provinces that nominated Ramaphosa, they are united behind him. And everybody expected KwaZulu-Natal, to rally behind any candidate that the rival faction might nominate. But right now we don't know whether KwaZulu-Natal will go for Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma or Zweli Mkhize or any other person. So to a large extent, it cements and strengthen the position of the current president of the ANC. Not to say that he deserves it or not, but to say the balance of political forces in the ANC currently are swaying in a way that benefit the current president rather than those who say they are available to become the next president.
And then quite quickly, if we can, Elvis, I'm not seeing any obvious person to be Secretary General. The Gauteng and Limpopo haven't agreed on who that person is. Are you surprised at that? It's such a big position.
Yeah, you must remember, Stevens, that, there's this, age-long, custom in the ANC of, geographic spread when it comes to leadership or determination of leadership, whereby they prefer that the top structure, particularly top six, it must have, this, embodiment of, a geographic spread, in a sense that, we have got South Africa comprised of 9 provinces and different regions, different, vernacular languages. So I think they avoid a situation whereby people from the same province will populate the top 6, officials. So that is my thinking, and I believe the ANC still subscribe to that. They don't want one province or 2 provinces, having, leaders within the top 6. They want it to be as spread as possible, and that's why I believe even other provinces must be considered in the representation of candidates who must be nominated for the top 6.
Elvis Masoga, political analyst, really appreciate the time. Thank you very much indeed.